Hello, and welcome to Tiffany Teach Tuesday. Today's topic is estate planning, and I am a big advocate of estate planning, especially sorry for that. I'm live on another stream, and it actually kicked in on the speaker. It wasn't turned off. Apologize again. So I'm a big advocate on estate planning, and the reason being, especially in real estate, it has a tremendous effect on the assets that you collect over time. Even before you pass away, it can be detrimental to your real estate portfolio if you do not have your estate planning in place. A lot of people I speak to, like, oh, I got a will. And there's a difference between a will and a trust. With a will is the direction of how you want your estate to be handled. If you're incapacitated, if you pass away, if you're not able to make decisions on your own, the will gives direction on how to handle your affairs. A trust is a tool that is developed to sit your estate in. So when it's time to handle your affairs, it has its own entity. And I'm gonna get into that in a little while. But things that will go into a trust, that will be held in a trust in a separate entity, in a third party entity that will handle it, will be your life insurance policies, your bank accounts, where you're at your assets, life insurance policy, bank account, your real estate portfolio, your stocks and bonds. You will put that into a trust, which will mitigate if you have to go into probate court. Now, let me get this clear. I am not an attorney. I am a real estate professional who has had experience with dealing with people who have had estates that did not have the proper planning in place. Okay. So, with your life insurance policy, let's be hypothetical. Let's say you leave $150,000. You have $150,000 life insurance policy for those who have life insurance. Life insurance is very important. Now, your $150,000 is to bury you. And let's say you have children under the age of 18 that need to be taken care of. You wouldn't want someone to get your life insurance policy and spend the entire $100,000 on burying you, and they still have the cost of taking care of your child. Let's say if you had a bigger policy and it was $500,000, you wouldn't want someone to get custody of your child that shouldn't have custody of your child, but they're the only one that stepped up because they knew that you had a $500,000 policy for your child to be taken care of. Get your money that should be given to your child and spend these funds in the direction of which you did not feel was appropriate. So what you can do is put it into a trust, the $500,000, and they only get out disbursements to cover certain expenses. You can put that in your will to specify exactly what those expenses are that they can take these funds to utilize to ensure that when your child is of age, they have the things that you want them to have. You can even take that $500,000 policy, if it's a universal policy with cash value, and give them just the interest off of it to take care of your child, because you have an idea what it'll cost and how much you're saving to investing into it, to teach them to take care of your child, to utilize just the interest off of it while the principal is gaining more interest, so that your child will be able to have funds. And this is what we call, when they say trust babies, because a person has a policy that was an essential amount. They took that policy and they took the interest only and dispersed it, but the face value, half of the interest only, and dispersed it, and then the remaining balance plus interest, they reinvested it into maybe a standard poor 500, and every year they paid off the interest alone, half of the interest, to the beneficiaries, to ensure that they continue to receive money for the duration of the life that they're here on earth. And that's how you build trust babies. Okay, now that's just with a life insurance policy. Now let's say you had the same $500,000 and your child is 22 years old. Just imagine a child that's 22, hasn't figured life out, to come into this large sum of money. A lot of times they end up again with $0 within a year later, because they wasn't ready to handle that amount of funds. If you had a trust in place, it will state you will not be able to get all of these funds until you reach a certain age. And as you reach these milestones, these you will receive these disbursements. Example, when Whitney Houston passed away, she left her daughter, Bobby Christina, I think $20 million. But Bobby Christina could only get part of that monies when she first passed away, and each milestone as she set, she would get a large sum of disbursements. If it was just the will in place and her name was, say, she get a life insurance policy, they would inherit all of this money at once. And some people are not ready for that responsibility. So that is the reason you would just want to get a trust in place just for a life insurance policy. This also ensures, people like, oh, they gonna kill me if I get this much money on me. But when you pass, you're gonna die anyway. And nobody's gonna kill you if you don't tell them what you have to give to them anyway. However, if you were to get a policy that had a large amount value on it, you can write stipulations that determines if they will receive anything upon you passing away. So, for example, I'll use myself. In my trust, I don't have any children, but my niece and nephews are my beneficiaries. And if they don't meet certain milestones in life by a certain age period, which they know this, they're completely written out of my trust. So I'm not in, by that age that I set, if I live to be that age, I will determine at that time if I'll increase it, how they're doing, what they're doing, and how they will receive it. And that ensure, the reason I wrote it in place, to ensure that they won't do things that are not in my best interest in order to receive my monies. So you put trust in place to safeguard yourself as well as your beneficiaries, so they can receive what they're have to receive. And in addition, you give a individual an estate, give them an executive of the estate, and you want to make somebody that, give it to somebody that you trust. You can use institutions like Wintrust Bank, Northern Trust Bank. These trust companies, these are companies that handle people's trust to ensure that they are executed in the manner in which they want them to. There is a difference, again, between a will and a trust. Stop thinking because you have a will that your assets are safeguarded, because they are not. So we've talked about life insurance, how you can move those into trust, how you can distribute the funds from that to a minor child, to a to a individual who has your minor child, that's taking care of them, to ensure that all the funds are spent and distribute the way that you feel is needed to take care of your child. There's a lot of tools that are utilized, that a trust can help you utilize, to ensure that your funds are being utilized in the way that you want them to be used, so that the people that are supposed to receive them when they need to receive them. Now, another issue that people run into who don't have a trust in place. If you are of the age where you now receive Medicare, which is for seniors, our young people, or you happen to be out of the job, self-employed, got laid off, and you're receiving Medicaid. These are government benefits of insurance that helps to take care of you if you become sick. It's like, health insurance coverage. And you get ill to the point that you need long-term care and have to be put into a long-term care institution, and you own any assets, bank accounts with cash value, life insurance policies, uh, property with cash value, the government, let's get this clear, the United States of America is going to make you deplete all of your assets before they will give you any support. I'm going to say this again. If you have any assets and you become ill and you are on Medicare or Medicaid and need long-term care, the government is going to make you sell them and deplete them before they will give you any insurance coverage for those needs. However, in the state of Illinois, I know that this is so. If you have your assets in a trust for 5 years before you need that long-term care, the government will support you and you will not have to sell or deplete those accounts if they are in a trust. It is very imperative for those individuals who are going into retirement age to secure their assets in a trust, to ensure that they ever need your family need any additional financial support to take care of you if you become ill, that they can without having to sell your house that you worked years to pay off, investment properties that you saved hard to earn, and give it all away and leave no inheritance for your heirs, because you have to use all of those funds to take care of your well-being, because it's not enough that what you already have to do so with what you have, and you need the government to help you. I recommend everyone get a great trust attorney. Everybody knows how to do law. Yes, they do, because they all went to law school. But you will not go to a neurosurgeon about your heart. So do not go to a criminal attorney about your estate planning, because a bad estate plan will leave you in a whole lot more trouble than just paying the extra money and getting someone who is qualified in helping you to establish your estate. I hope this information has helped someone. Again, I am not an attorney. I am a licensed real estate professional who have seen people, when someone has passed away, losing everything in probate court because there was no trust, there was no estate plan in place, and they're fighting for something that wasn't theirs in the first place, and attorneys have gotten it all, or they have walked away with less than they would have received had their ancestor put a plan in place, which is a trust, to prohibit them from fighting over it. I have also seen individuals who have taken ill and needed help from the government to take care of them, and they had to sell everything that they owned, deplete all of their bank accounts to get help from the government to make sure that they have a comfortable life during their time of illness. So again, thank you as usual for always tuning in to Tiffany Teach Tuesday. I hope that this has helped you, gave you some information that you need to be great. And I will see you on Tuesday, the third Tuesday of April, to talk about something new. Not sure what it'll be, but tune in and you will see.